If you're watching this video, then you might be one of those people that always want to memorize things, but never can seem to get the job done. Don't worry, Bussy's OK channel is here to help. With this simple video, I will cover mnemonic devices and new ways to learn not just digits of pi, but applying the same knowledge can also be applied to things like memorizing phone numbers, addresses, place names, even people's names. And memorizing pi, given that it has an infinite number of decimal places, is the perfect place to start with this. So don't worry if you're trying to memorize something and it always ends up looking like this. That's normal. It even took me several years to memorize this as pi at this level, but I've broken it down to the first 50 digits to make it a little bit easier to memorize, and I also color code it by digit for another fun activity that I have planned later in this video. So here we have the first 50 digits of pi. So the first mnemonic device I'm going to use to memorize the first 5 digits of pi, which are 3.1415. Just remember the number sequence 13, 14, 15, but without the first one. And there, we're already halfway through the first row. And the early digits of pi are also very full of palindromes, especially 3-digit palindromes. Like here we have 535, 979, 323, 626, 383, and notice that there's also only one 0 that's in the 33rd decimal place. And this is more pi than most of you will ever actually need, given that we only need 39 decimal places to calculate the circumference of the universe with an error less than that of a hydrogen atom. So if most of you have gotten this far, then you're probably just doing this for fun. But let's keep going. So let's also take this moment to look at the distribution of the numbers. So we notice 3s are very common, and we'd expect this because that's what pi starts with 9 3s in the first 50 digits. 2s and 4s are distributed relatively normally, as well as 2s and 9s, which both have 5 in the first 50 digits. And of course, 0s, which, as I covered earlier in this video, only has 1 in the first 50 digits. So let's take a little bit to look at this, and we'll get into some activities. Changing the slide in 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Alright, your timer is now up. Feel free to pause the video now if you want to stay on this slide longer. Here is a blank chart, and I understand if most of you can't automatically fill this in, but... Sorry, I can't go back. Alright, let's see if you remember where all the 1s are. So if you chose there, wait, let me mark it to make it more clear. Let's say you chose there, um, and there, then you're on the right track. Alright, now let's move on. Let's see if you remember where all the 2s are. Give you a minute to think. Almost there. If you answered there, you're correct. Let's move on. So we're not going to go through all the numbers, just for simplicity. But let's see if you remember where all the 3s are. I'll give you a free answer. There's 1 in the top left corner because that's what pi starts with. If you answered there, and if you remember, there's 9 of them, so I should have given you a lot more time. But this is correct. And now, 2 more. Let's see if you know where all the 4s are. Give you a hint. There's 1 in the 3rd decimal place, 3.14. Interesting fact while you're looking, did you know that if you wrote the numbers first 3.14 like this and reflected it, then it would look like the word pi? And let me take care of this little. There you go. So here are the fours. I just noticed that there's four fours. And now let's end off with an easy one. Where is the zero? There's only one. Where is it? It's there. Ta-da! So now that you know the placement of all the numbers, well, most of them anyway, let's try a different exercise. So here is the whole chart of the first 50 digits once again. Let's see if you remember what digits were in the second row. If you answered 5897932384, then you're correct. Now, let's do this with the fourth row. What 10 digits were in the fourth row? Give you a hint, it's the one with the zero. If you said 95028884197, you're correct. Good job, we're almost done. And now, first 10 digits is mostly what we need, so let's see if you remember what the first 10 digits were. If you said 3.1415926653, you're correct. Now let's end this video by saying all 50 digits together. Ready? 3.1415926653, 5897932384, 6264338327, 9502884197, 1693993751. There we go. We're done. Adios.